And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, May the 6th, right? Yeah, 2023. It is Season 17, Episode 15. And I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome into the show, everybody. Where's the camera? There it is. We have there's camera here, camera here, camera here, camera there. 4 cameras. We're only using 2 of them, but there's 4 cameras set up in the room here. So, anyway, if you would like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334. Let me turn off the thing there. 334-272-9228. To call in, you can check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can also find us on Facebook there as well. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. Or you can join us on Twitch, which is where we're streaming at. Go to there, twitch.tv. Type that in the browser, then there's a little search bar. Type in Game Chat, and you'll be able to find us. Yeah, you'll be able to find us there. It's, where you always find us. Go to our website. There's links there. Our Discord that we've got set up, where you can join in and chat with us on the air. Which is better. Like if you're thinking about calling, go ahead. You feel free to call. If that's the only way you can do it. If there's a way you can do it through Discord, comes in much better. Or at least that's what we've seemed to have discovered. All right. Sorry, I was hearing something.
A buzz or a hum?
Oh, it's this thing over here. Never mind. I can hear it a lot louder in my headphones than I can when I take my headphones off.
So that thing over there buzzing, is that the thing been interfering with our
Nah,
signal
it's something
all this
down.
time?
No. I don't know. It's something down here that has nothing to do with our show whatsoever. This particular show probably may have something to do with other shows, may have something to do with the station in general.
Yeah, but we've checked everything else on this thing, so maybe it is something that has nothing to do with our show.
But if it does, there's nothing I can do about it if it's this thing. If it's this thing, there's absolutely nothing I can do about it, because turning that off might have really bad
irreparable damage.
Yeah. I'm not about to mess with that thing.
To the station, and your
and I don't even know. There's equipment in here that operates other stations in the building.
Yeah,
not just the one we're on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I don't mess with that stuff. If that stuff's making noise or doing something, but I tell you, it's coming in a lot louder through my headphones than it is when I take my headphones off. Anyway, enough about that. Let's go to the phones. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
This is Chris.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Not too bad.
What's up?
Well, I didn't get in touch with y'all last week when I went and saw Mason and them, but my buddy or Archie's buddy.
Man, your phone is really, really messing up, man.
Are you on speaker?
It must be the house phone or on the other end.
I have no idea, but it sounds
really... I mean, my own cell phone.
It's really warbly.
No clue, but I'll hang up and try again on cell.
Okay.
All
right, we'll wait for him to try again. See how that goes.
Yeah.
Like I said, you can call us. We're fine with that. Usually we work the kinks out with Chris. He's going to be calling back. But like I said, Discord comes in real clear. We never have to worry about it. The phone's like a coin flip. It might be good, it might be bad.
Yeah.
Discord, pretty much always good whenever you call in for that. So, yeah, this is Chris again. Let's try again. Hi, Chris.
Any better?
Might be.
Mm-hmm.
There's no telling. Anyway, it sounds like it's breaking up on my end.
Well, you do sound better than you did previous.
Yeah,
there's
not as warped, but there's still a little bit of
yeah, there's still something there, but it's not as bad.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So what's up? What's going on?
Playing more of the Tokyo. I can't remember the darn name.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah.
You
been enjoying that?
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
PlayStation 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because I know it's out on PC and it's out on, I think, Xbox now as well. So I wasn't sure which console you'd be doing it on, but I know you don't do a lot of PC stuff, but I know you have a PS5, so I figured that's what you're doing. That's what you're playing that on. So yeah, that came out about a year ago.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so as well. Ghostwire Tokyo. It's the I called it the Doctor Strange game, just because you do a lot of hand movements. Your hand movements are your weapons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
Spirit something or other.
yeah.
Having to do with ghosts and spirits and things. Yeah. Yeah. They say. I think one of the descriptions was a beautifully haunted Tokyo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's got a lot of mythology about the Japanese culture and different artifacts and things that people that are interested in that kind of stuff, it would be up their alley.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I know the phone's really having an issue.
Yeah. It came out in late March of 2022.
Okay. Yeah. All right. About a year old.
Developed by Tango and Bethesda. So, the folks behind Evil Within.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah. Thar66 said it reached 4 million players yesterday. He said, or sales. He's not sure if it was 4 million players or 4 million sales. I'm guessing he's talking about Ghostwire Tokyo. So I haven't messed with it. I haven't touched it. I haven't looked. I've watched reviews of it, that sort of thing, and it doesn't seem like it's my kind of game. I like some of it, but yeah.
Maybe give it a shot when the price drops or something.
Well, I think it's on Game Pass.
Oh, okay. You can give it a shot.
Maybe. I know that it's on Xbox now, which always makes me think, well, if a game's on Xbox, it's got to be on Game Pass, which is not always the case, but it might be. And Thar66 says yes. So apparently that's the case. It is on Game Pass. So that's something I'd try there.
Okay, you can give it a shot later.
Yeah, if I'd like to give it a shot. Yeah. One of those things, you know how it is for me to play something new. You know how hard it is for me to break from tradition?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
Even if it's been played to the ground, you'll still find a way to get it.
There's always something, isn't there?
Get there.
There's always something going on.
Some other reward.
I know.
What's it called? Triumphs to get.
Yeah, I know. It's Guardian games going on right now, but yeah. So Ghostwire Tokyo. Anything else?
Not much. No, just finishing that up for next month when Diablo and Final Fantasy 16.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Sorry, you have to decipher it because of the phone. If you go back and listen to this after we're done, like tomorrow, listen to the show and listen. You'll hear what it sounds like. Well, you may know what it sounds like. I don't know what it sounds like on your end, but on this end, it sounds really strange. So, but anyway, just to give you
back on my side too.
Yeah, just to give you an idea what it sounded like. So, but anyway. We appreciate hearing from you and glad you're playing that. Like I said, I'll jump in on that and get a look at it. But Final Fantasy 16 is something I'm very interested in. After watching the PlayStation State of Play or whatever it was for that game, I am still on the I'm interested in it and maybe giving that a shot. So we'll see about that.
Just need a little more.
I don't think I need a little more. Well, I mean, I'll probably look at reviews whenever it releases, just to get some idea, and I'll listen to some people who have played it in forums and things, just to see where that is. But I don't necessarily know that. It would totally sway me if the reviews were like, "Hey, the previews are great, but this is horrible." Look, we'll talk about it coming up, and what I mean is Redfall. We'll talk about that because we got.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Yeah, no. I don't think anything's going to be that bad. I don't ever think it, but it's the same situation where previews or whatever never really kind of said how bad it's actually going to be, and then it does release. I mean, they weren't. Yeah. They were like, "Hey, there's some problems here," or it's got some quirks, but not as hard on it as it is now since it's been released. And like I said, we're going to get into that. But we appreciate you calling in, Chris. Take care and have a great weekend. All right.
All right, see y'all later.
Later, man.
Take care now.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I hate the phone thing. I wish it was better.
If it ain't the hum, it's the phone.
I don't know, man. I don't know, but I wish it wasn't that way.
Yeah.
So,
now I've seen movies like that. The previews or whatever was like awesome, make you want to see the film, and then you actually see the film, and it's like terrible.
Yeah, well, that's fine. I mean, previews is a few hours out of your life, and maybe what, $6, $7? I don't know how much a movie costs now.
Matinee, probably, yeah.
Maybe 10. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could throw it up and say the movie costs $20 total for you to get in, for you getting your stuff, and you're out $20 and you're out a couple hours. Redfall's a $60 game. You put in your $60, you're out $60. that you can't get back. Like, you can't get the 20 back either, but it's less than 60.
Unless you get it physical and turn it in that same day. Maybe.
Yeah. When we're going to go over this thing with Redfall, which came out this week. And, I mean, it's bad game's bad game. That's just how things work out. But this is really bad. This is a really bad game. I didn't have my...
Thor says it's 70.
Oh, it's $70. Okay, well, you're out $70. And it may be on Game Pass, actually. So, I mean, you might not be out anything other than whatever Game Pass cost, and that's not really putting you out. But, well, same thing works. If you have one of those, I think it's AMC or somebody that does the thing where you can pay a monthly price and see like 3 movies a week or something like that for whatever the price is. Yeah. But I don't go out and see movies enough to merit getting my full money's worth out of that. Yeah. And I hate to stick with this movie analogy for whatever reason, but I guess I'm just thinking of an entertainment value type of thing. Mm-hmm. And I guess a movie's the closest relation I can go to for a video game for some reason. Yeah. I don't know why I jumped to that, but that's what I do. That's close. I guess, yeah.
Paying money for entertainment, yeah, but. Either way, only got like the tail end of just little snippets here and there, but every one of them about Redfall was just horrible.
It's bad.
Nothing good about this. Really.
It's not good. Not good at all. And we'll get into it. We'll dive into that.
Into detail later, yeah.
But first, let's find out what RJ played.
Let's see. Played a little bit of Grand Theft Auto Online. Tried to go back into smuggling with air smuggling. Cargo freight, things like that, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was reminded again of how horrible those missions are solo. I mean, it's a whole lot of work for a very little bit of gain. So at least the hangar was at a discount, so I picked that up to store any aircraft. And so at least that's a plus with that. Played a little bit more of Virtua Fighter 5.
Yeah.
Still trying to get my numbers up. And for the most part, been playing MLB The Show 23. There's still a little bit of reminders that the PS4 is not the ideal system for it anymore. Probably a Pro or the PS5 or PC or whatever, because there were little things that was getting me here and there. Like, for instance, sports is all about timing, right?
Yeah.
Especially in baseball, timing of the swing of the pitch and getting there and giving the right type of swing on there, right? So there were times when I was playing the game where the ball would be halfway to the plate. Pitcher's throwing the ball's halfway there, and then the thing hiccups because it's trying to load something.
Oh, okay.
And now your timing is thrown completely off, and you end up swinging way too early or way too late. And it was noticeably happening with a few of the pitches. Not like every other pitch, nothing like that, but when it happened, it stuck with you for a while.
Yeah.
So that's the thing I'm been going through lately with that game. So yeah, the next iteration of the show, by that time around, I'll probably will be, if not on a PS5 or a PC or something, because the PS4, the one I got now, it's
can't handle it anymore.
Can't handle it anymore. It's just I don't think it can handle it anymore. It's just too much game for it.
Well,
yeah,
that's I haven't played it on Is it on PC?
I don't know. Probably. I mean, it was on Pass, wasn't it?
It was on Game Pass, yeah, but I don't necessarily know that it was Game Pass for PC.
Let's see.
I don't know that that's on PC.
I've only known it on PlayStation, so
I've only known it as a console game.
Yeah. Let's see. Just looking it up right now. Let's see what it's
Can you tell?
No, not from the thing here. Let's see. Select your platform: PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo.
Yeah, no PC for that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Well, something bigger next time around.
Yeah, I got you.
I'll have to go that way.
I got you.
Go that route. Yeah, that's pretty much all I played this week. Yeah.
Yeah, for me, what did I play? I did some demos. I did some puzzle demos during the Puzzle Fest that was going on last week. Mm-hmm. One was a game. I tried it, I think, on Monday. I did a game called Discolored. That was odd. The demos are very, a lot of the demos are not hand holders, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. They plop you in there and you figure it out. couple of these indie dev type demos are just, especially in the puzzle stuff, they just put you in there and you have to figure it out. So Discolored was one that I tried. Agent A, I think, was another one that I tried on Sunday of last week. And again, it was kind of a hidden object, and if you find this, it unlocks this in a different room and all these other little things. I don't know. It's okay at the time. Boxes was the only one that I really, really enjoyed that I tried out. Because it had, basically it was just, here's more of the room. You know, it was nothing but them trying to mimic the room. And they weren't doing that bad. I can't remember the name of the game, but I have I'm in their Discord there because I enjoyed it so much. I was like, okay, fine, I'll join your Discord because I want to get some updates on when, because there was no release date or anything like that. So I don't know when they were aiming to get this out, but I really, really liked it. And, you know, it pressed all the buttons for me, which is, you know, hidden box puzzle game. I like those. Other than that, though, it has been Destiny all the way. I still have not soloed a dungeon yet. That is coming up. I will either make that attempt tomorrow or next weekend. That is going to be my timeline. Because if I wait any longer, the season ends on May 22nd or 23rd.
You got time, but...
Yeah, but if I wait any longer, then, you know, it'll be like, I got it, and then it's going to reset, you know? Mm-hmm. So if I did it the weekend before the season ends, then, you know, I did it only for a few days to have the bragging rights, I suppose, whatever it may be. The accomplishment of it will only last for just a few days because then everything resets for the new season. So, yeah. Right now, the Guardian games are going on. It's kind of like it's competition between the three classes, Warlocks versus Hunters versus Titans, that sort of thing. I'm not paying attention to the competition of it at all. I am ticking off the boxes of triumphs that you have to do. Deposit medals. You get medals from doing things in activities throughout the thing. You just play the game. You get this stuff. There's a few that you can focus as far as there's one that has to get, I don't know how many, but get scout rifle kills, right? Mm-hmm. So anything that I do, regardless of what I'm doing, make sure you got a scout rifle on you in one of those slots, if not both, so that what you're doing racks up for that. There's one that's like, hey, get this many kills with a super, and if you have Strand, the new super thing that it was added with this season,
the new class,
the new
damage type,
the new subclass.
So what is it now? It's fire, electricity,
void,
whatever,
purple stuff. OJ, Sunny D,
grape juice. Those three now. Stasis.
Stasis is the freeze one.
The Dead Space stuff. Stasis, and then now Strand.
Strand, which is the green stuff. Yeah.
Which is what basically. Void, just green.
No, not really. Strand has. Think of Strand as a. What's a good way to put this? It's kind of like Stasis in a sense. Because you can freeze your enemies. Now, Stasis freezes with ice. Strand freezes with, like, shackles. So there's that, and you have a grapple ability, which you can grapple anywhere.
Magnetism?
No. I mean, you can, well, I guess you could call it magnetism, but, I mean, it's basically you throwing out a projectile that sticks in the air and then lets you swing from it. Yeah. I know.
Sounds like magnetism.
I mean, there's different ways you can call it, but without you actually playing it, it'd be kind of hard to describe. But anyway, so there's little things where you get this many kills with your super, and if you kill people with Strand, you get more progress done that way if you do it that way. So I mean, there's these little things you can focus on while you're playing the game to do this, and it's not really it's not really a problem at all. So. So yeah, if I'm going to be testing some stuff tomorrow. I got a checkpoint for the boss, and I want to test out a cheese. I probably talked about this last week. I don't remember, but there's a cheese or a cheat or whatever you want to call it,
shortcut
for the last boss. But I want to see. I've heard reports that it'll crash your game. Depends on your FPS. Like if you turn off your VSync or turn on your VSync and put it to 30 frames. then you have less chance of it crashing and a better chance of the thing working and that sort of thing. I just want to see, first, how easy it is to pull off. Secondly, can I pull it off without crashing? And if I can do those things and kind of get it consistent, or at least time it so I know how to do it, then it'll be an option that I use when I finally make it to that boss going through my whole thing. But I kind of want to test that out first, because otherwise it's going to take me forever to kill the boss. There's 2 bosses in this dungeon. The first one, there's no workaround, there's no cheat. I'm just going to have to slowly tick away his health. Do the mechanic. Tick away a little health. Do the mechanic again. Tick away a little health. Now, I'm saying it like it's a quick little thing. It is not. Because it's normally made for 3 people to do. And that can make it go fast. I'm just not going to be going fast solo. But anyway. So what I got to prepare myself. So, but yeah, that's probably what's going to happen there. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Not really. Yeah, not really. Yeah. Yeah, that's about it for me as far as game playing, which is fine because we are at the bottom of the hour here, and I see we got Josh hanging out in the chat room there, which we will. Hey, Josh, you there?
Yep.
Hey, look at that! And see how Discord sounds great. Normally, you call us in on Skype before we had the Discord, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or rather, Gmail.
Yeah. Whichever way worked, but man, this sounds nice. Sounds great. Hey, man, hang on. We're going to go to a break, and then when we come back, we're going to jump to you, okay?
All right, then.
All right. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat in just a moment. Music here from a game called Age of Wonders. Age of Wonders 4 is out now, and I tried to find music from that outside of the entire soundtrack being posted online instead of being posted in a bunch of different videos for each track. It was like, here's the whole thing, 2 hours, 1 video. I'm like, no, I don't do that. So I got Age of Wonders 3. This is called Of Past and Present Tense, I guess. I don't know. It's cut off. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Tales of the Neon Sea. I have no idea what that game is about. Quick phone, huh? Quick
piracy.
Yeah, quick phone call here. Hi, you're on In-Game Chat. Who's this?
It's Chris again. Is this better?
A little bit.
Oh, I'm on landline directly, connected to the landline.
It sounds like it's not as bad as it was.
Well, I hope that gives you some info and clues.
Do what now?
I hope that gives you some clues.
Oh, if it gives me some clues as to what might be I don't know. I have no idea.
See y'all later. Y'all have fun.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, Al.
Josh, you there?
Yep.
There he is. See,
Man,
Night and day different. We just had that. We just had the difference there. Night and day. What's going on, man? We haven't talked to you in a while. How are things?
Yes, stuff is good. Playing games, or rather painting more minis lately. Also getting back into that.
Yeah. What? I don't know anything about the mini type thing, but I mean, what are you painting?
I'm painting a board game, an old one of mine, for a friend for their birthday.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Is it a tedious task?
Can be.
Well, it's 90 plastic minis I have to paint, so kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. There was a when I went to PAX one year, and they had excuse me, they had a room where you could go in. You didn't pay any money. They'd give you. They had a bunch of paint out, and they had some figures, and you could sit down and paint for a while if you wanted to. And so I gave it a shot. I tried it out. I mean, it was. I probably spent maybe 30 minutes there doing it. That's I just had some time to kill in between, and I'd never done the painting figure thing. And there were people who had been there for a good while, but you could tell from what they had worked on. I mean, it was, they had a visual of like, this is what this armor is going to look like. It's going to have red shoulders, and it's going to have this, and all. They planned it out. Whereas me, I'm just like, I'm going to put blue here. I'll put some red here. Just not keeping any type of conformity, not keeping any type of, not necessarily conformity, but what's the term I'm thinking of? So uniformity, I guess. Is what I'm talking about.
Some kind of scheme of some sort, paint scheme.
Yeah. I was just like, color here, color here, color here, color here. Don't use the same color twice, and it just looked ridiculous.
I mean, it's the best way to find out how the color looks on the mini.
This is true. You can do that, but that not when you're just there kind of demoing it, I guess you could say. Yeah. But I am fascinated. I got a friend of mine out I think he still lives in Seattle, I guess, but he paints minis all the time, and he has a nice little, he's got a good photography setup to take photos of his minis with a backdrop and everything after he paints them. Which is really, 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 really cool looking. So yeah, the amount of time, the detail, everything you put in there, man. I think it's actually probably cathartic, therapeutic even.
It sure is, and it beats sitting in front of a screen all day.
Maybe. Maybe if your job is sitting in front of a screen all day, perhaps.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I was about to say eye strain could happen in both instances, can it?
I think so, yeah. Well, especially the minis, because they're so small, and a lot of people but a lot of people paint those through a magnifying glass. I mean, the setup is very, not complicated really, but it's involved. If the ones that are really good at what they do, and I guess do it for a living, I suppose. Like they have their whole thing. They have their mat set up, and all their paints and their brushes that they have to keep clean, and the brushes are really tiny. Get that big magnifying glass that has the light on it, that you can look through, and then hit the paint and everything else. So, yeah, I think it's real cathartic. I just never got into it. So. Which is weird because I used to, draw and all sorts of stuff. So, used to do that sort of thing back when I was younger. Surprised it never caught on. But I can tell you this: I don't think I had access to it. Wasn't really shown that world of gaming, I guess. When I was coming up into it, I'd heard about it, but I felt like that was either too advanced for me, not the painting side of things, but that game that I only understood it as you have these figures, you paint them, and then you play with them. That's not the case at all. You can have the figures and not do anything with them but paint them. That can be your thing.
Yeah, that's what I do for the most part these days.
Exactly. So yeah, and now I'm finding out that Bama Brian used to paint BattleTech miniatures. That's cool. What was the brand that you're doing? What's the game?
The board game I'm painting right now is a box of Zombicide.
Okay, all right. So,
and I also have a lot of old Games Workshop miniatures lying around that I never got around to painting.
So you're actually painting zombies and stuff? Are you painting like little?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And that's why it's so many, because, well, it's zombies. They're fodder.
Yeah, they are. What skin tone do you go for with zombies?
I'm planning to do a mix. I'm using some new techniques I never used before and some new paints that weren't around when I first started the hobby. So it's a bit of a new thing, but some lighter skin tones, some more in the greenish or yellowish, and a mix, so they're not looking all uniform.
Yeah. No, it really sounds great. I think if I found a subject that I would do that for, I probably would. It's kind of like how I got into Legos and that sort of thing. I think if I can find, because I'm not interested in every Lego set out there. I'm only really interested in the ones I want to build. Same thing, I think, with miniatures. It's depending on what's out there. I don't know, but which I think it's a bunch. Because the guy I know does. He did BattleTech. I think it was BattleTech. And something else, but lately it's been Marvel characters that he's been painting minis for, and they look great. So
you know what you probably could do?
What?
Is get an STL made of your Destiny character and get that printed out and painted.
Yep. Probably so. There's probably already there's probably already a company that's like, here, we're printing Destiny minifigs. You can buy one of them, or here's a group so you can have some of these enemy characters and then some of the, your Warlock, your Hunter, your Titan. And then, I don't know, probably those might exist. That'd be interesting. I may dabble a little bit in that just to see what's out there and see what, if there's anything that kind of strikes me.
Feel free to ask me any questions.
Yeah, I totally will. Well, let me ask you, I know it's different because you're in a completely different country. What's the investment? Not time, but money. What's the investment on that? How much do paints? What do they cost?
Currently, I think I pay around €2 to €20 per bottle.
Yeah.
And those last years, depending on how much you paint.
Right, that's true.
And as long as you don't buy Games Workshop colors, usually it's not as expensive.
I'll have to look into that. That might be something. At first, I need to find something that might interest me to paint. And then second...
There are also kind of beginner painting sets where you get a brush, some colors, and some minis in it.
Right. That was my thought. Was like, then I would have to go into to get the paints and the brushes. Have to get all that stuff. So, yeah. It's kind of interesting. And the ST, did you say STL, STI? STL?
Yeah, STL.
Yeah, that's for 3D printers, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't currently have one of those. Do you have a 3D printer, Josh?
Oh, no, I don't have the space for it. I would need to put it somewhere where I don't breathe regularly.
Okay.
Yeah, you do need to have some really good ventilation.
Do you?
Where you got that 3D printer out.
Mm.
And there are minis available for Destiny characters.
Oh, there are.
I see like Fallen House of Dusk Vandals. I see some of them.
Are you just looking at images, or did you find a site?
Found a Etsy.
Oh, an Etsy thing? Yeah, that's somebody 3D printing. They have the STLs, they're printing them, and then they're selling them. Yeah. Exactly.
So, if I see any other places, I'll bring it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll just have to, in one of my days when I'm just browsing the internet, I'll have to, take a look at that and see. Have you played anything outside of the painting?
Yeah. I played the Diablo beta.
Right.
I played some Brigador Up Armored Edition.
That I'm not familiar with.
That's an isoperspective pixel graphic mech game,
okay.
basically. And then I started playing a 4-player co-op campaign for Total War Warhammer 3.
All right. Yep. Oh, yeah. Warhammer does minifigs too, right?
Yeah, but Games Workshop stuff is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
So there are definitely a lot of cheaper options out there, especially nowadays.
Yeah. If you get a chance, and if you've got any handy, you just throw me. You can put it in. You can put it in the Discord, or you can put it in our Twitch chat, or something like that. If you've got any links to some of the stuff you painted, I'd love to see it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
no problem.
I would totally love to see that. I don't know if you want to talk with us or you want to stay with us through Discord, but we were going to jump into some of the news here to hit some stuff. I guess, given that we got about 10 minutes here, I'll save the Redfall stuff for the top of the hour here. And we'll go into it. I don't necessarily know that we need that long to tell you how bad a game is, but we'll hit some of this stuff that we've got on the quick. Vampire Survivors is getting its own animated series. This guy, what a stroke of luck he's got. And I don't even know if it's luck than it is just here's a really good game design, very simple, but really good game design. Taken something, Vampire Survivors, that looked, it's a one-man thing that he built. Mm-hmm. It's all pixels. It was $3 when I bought it. This thing is now getting its own animated series. Dude's just rolling in it at this point. It did just massively well, has won tons of awards. I think it's got some DLC released. Microsoft paid him a ton of money so they could put it on Game Pass, I think for PC. Mm-hmm. So yeah, congrats to him. It's a great game. If you are on PC and you got $5, because it was cheaper when it was in early access. It's not in early access anymore, but I think it's about $5, and probably goes on sale quite a lot. Pick it up. It is absolutely worth it. Great game. What else do we have? Star Wars Jedi Survivor has been doing great if you're playing it on console, but PC continues to have issues. There was a bug that caused people to permanently lose experience points. Permanently lose them. Mm-hmm. They're working hard to fix this. It is not Redfall levels of bad, but yeah, just for the PC side of things, it just hasn't been great. On the flip side of that, Super Mario Brothers movie is doing fantastic. Mm-hmm. Now, it was knocked out of the #1 spot by Guardians this week, but it already passed the $1 billion mark worldwide. Yep. It became, I believe, the most successful animated film, I think, that I know of, or at least, movies don't usually rake in $1 billion since the pandemic here. And something like an animated film usually doesn't reach that either. But obviously something that's tied into Mario, sure. Mm-hmm. We get that. I think Avatar may have crossed it as well since then. I'm not sure, that Avatar sequel. But yeah. Yeah, it's done really, really well. I still haven't seen it, but it's done really, really well. And I think it comes on digital next weekend.
Yeah, how about to say, by the time we get around to it, it'll probably be available.
Yeah, man. I think it's May 16th is when it gets digital release. Mm-hmm. So like you can buy it for like, $25 or whatever whenever it hits the digital stuff. So yeah, you don't have to wait too much longer to see it if you're avoiding theaters for whatever reason. I don't know how much longer that's going to last.
Yeah. May 16th.
Yeah.
41 days after the animated hit first landed in theaters, April 5th.
It doesn't feel like it's that long ago.
No, it doesn't.
So I'm happy with these. Hey, it's only in theaters for about a month, and then I get to watch it at home. I'm enjoying this. I know it's going to go away soon, especially since movies like this just keep pulling in money. It seems like it's a what's the word? Seems like it's a loss to take it out of theaters if it's just still generating money. Mm-hmm. But I guess if you put it on digital for $20, people are paying more to see it that way than they would be to go to the theater.
Yeah. What was the last Fallout? I think it was Mulan, like $30. I think there was a Fallout from Disney for that. They had it was available for watching, but it was like a $30 price tag.
Right? Yeah. It's in theaters, or you can watch it at home if you pay whatever the price was.
$30.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Disney was doing that for a while. They stopped doing that actually. And a couple of companies have stopped doing that. You know, they're relying on the theater to do its thing, but they're not putting all their eggs in that basket though. They're like, we'll give you a theatrical run for like a month, but then we're putting it on, you know, at home so people can watch it, and that may be better for them. I don't know. It's interesting. We talk about this because you look at E3 where it's like it's something I never thought we would see to the point that we see it at now.
Yeah.
But it took something like that whole shutdown of everything to get us to that point. Mm-hmm. You know, people talk about, the shutdown wasn't good for this or wasn't good for that. And, you know, and there's cases where that is absolutely true.
Yeah. Look, situations like this make companies adapt.
But I'm totally fine with it in this regard.
Yeah, like I said, situations like this make companies adapt, and some adapted for the better, much better.
I think it's been great for us. I think it is. I think it's fantastic for us who don't get to go out to those things. I mean, the ones that I went to, they were fun, but the more I went to them, the more I realized I didn't need to go. Mm-hmm. You know, the more I went to the E3s, the more I realized I could do the same thing at home, or I'd get, you know, I'd see it better at home, the presentations, mm-hmm. and the stuff that's on the show floor that I would get to see would eventually make it online anyway. So me writing all these things about it means nothing whenever the same thing that I saw is going to be on the line in about 2 weeks. Mm. It was about 2 weeks before most of that stuff came out, and I'd be sitting there working on it, and I would type in my little preview of like, you're going to see this probably in about 2 weeks. They're just going to upload. So wait for it then, and you can make your own assessment.
Yeah.
So Bama Brian posted some 3D prints. Here are some of my 3D prints. Oh, look at that. Nice.
And I threw some pics into the Discord.
Oh, okay, cool. In the Discord. All right. I was looking at Twitch chat. That's some cool stuff there, Bama Brian. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I haven't messed around with I haven't looked into the 3D printing aspect yet.
Yeah, doing it yourself is an hobby in itself, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know a lot. There's people get they get the blueprints for a lot of guns in Destiny.
Yeah.
Especially the exotics, the hand cannons, basically.
Yeah, I saw it on Etsy. The Rasputin themed weapons was on there, and a lot of the Ace of Spades was available on there.
Ace of Spades is good. I really, really like the look of Malfeasance.
Yeah.
Which is what I would, if I was going to get one printed, it would probably be Malfeasance.
In fact, Ace of Spades was at this past AWA. When I went to AWA, it was.
Oh, do they have one on?
Yeah, they had a lot of them on display actually.
Yeah, that's probably somebody doing a 3D printing, and then they do a paint job on it, and then they sell it. So good for them. Let me go to the link here and see some of the stuff. Oh, wow, that's a lot. Moving the mic over here so I can. And there's a big glare on my computer screen from the window on the other side. Look at that. Good Lord, man. God. Oh, there's the zombies. Nice.
Yep. But yeah, that was a board game a friend paid me to paint for him, the other one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that took around 3-4-ish months, give or take.
Man, that's really nice. Look at that.
So how many figures total was that?
That board game was around 60 or 50, I think.
Ooh, and you're currently working on one that has 90, right?
Yeah, but like I said, I'm trying a new technique and some new paints. They are supposed to go a lot faster. Those 4 zombies took me like a total of 40 minutes maybe after priming them. Okay.
So we expect it not to go anywhere near as long. If the technique you said works fine, it should be anywhere.
Yeah, or at least not longer than that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's some amazing work there, and patient and very tedious work.
Yeah, a little bit, but like I said, it's cathartic for me.
It is. It's one of those things like, building Legos is can be that way depending on the build that you're doing. The bigger the build, the more time you got to put into it. I would sit down and do. They space them out in steps. Here's step 1, step 2, step 3, and those are in parts. So, in other words, usually when you open up a Lego box, there are bags that have numbers on them, and those correlate to the instructions. We're going to start with bag 1. And so I would do one bag and then say, okay, I'll do bag 2 tomorrow, depending on how many bags are in there, that sort of thing. I'll work on bag 2 and then bag 3, 4, 5, depending on what it was and how much time I wanted to put into it. So, and I haven't done a build in a while. I might start one of those tomorrow. Maybe tonight. I don't know. I've got the ISS is the one I want to do next.
Mm-hmm. Big one?
It's not too big,
okay,
but it's one I've had around and one I'd like to build.
Okay,
because I've got my Saturn rocket,
mm-hmm.
and I would like to get my ISS done, and then of course there's some more space themed ones that I would like to look into to get as well. But yeah, it's a fun little thing. Hey, when we come back, we're going to talk about Redfall. This was a game that is published by Microsoft. It's a game that is developed by a really, really good studio. You wouldn't know it if this was their first game, but it's not their first game. I don't exactly know what the count of games this is for them, but it's like 1, 2, 3... maybe their 4th or 5th game, depending on if you count some expansion stuff that they did for a couple of other games as part of what they worked on. But they're veterans in building games, really, and doing really, really a good job on some games. But this is just really strange as to how bad it actually is and why it got that way. And that's an interesting thing to think about because people ask, is it rushed? What was wrong? It's not a game that feels like, it's not a situation that feels like it was rushed. I don't know why they would think it would be rushed. You know what I'm saying? Like, It wasn't a highly anticipated title. So it didn't seem like there was a need to rush it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how long it's been in development. I really haven't read up on the history of this thing. But it made its name. It can go a couple of different ways, and we'll tell you about that when we come back. Because I'm thinking of No Man's Sky, right?
Mm-hmm.
A different situation, but they came out pretty clean when they were done with it. Mm-hmm. Got themselves dirty in the middle of it, but when they came out, they'd actually repaired everything that they had messed up. Could this go that way? I don't know, but we'll talk about it when we come back. And Josh, please feel free to stick around if you'd like to.
Of course.
Yeah, that'd be great. When we come back, we'll talk about that. This is music from Redfall. I think it's just the main menu music. There wasn't a lot to pick from because it had just released. So this is music from Redfall. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Jedi Survivor. This is called Into the Storm. Have you played that yet, Josh?
Oh, no, I don't have a Game Pass.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's on PC and, you know.
Yeah, no, it didn't look good from the get-go.
Did you play the first one?
Oh, no. Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of Redfall already.
Oh, okay. No. I was talking about Jedi Survivor.
I played the first one, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Interested in the second one, or?
Not really. I have enough games to play and play soon right now.
No, I've heard the sequel does a better job than what the first game did. Like, it improves upon what the first game, not bad, pretty good. And then the sequel comes out and they fixed a lot of problems, you know, some of whatever the problems were out of the first one they fixed for the second, kind of polished it up. It's a lot better. You know, got some nice quality of life improvements, that sort of thing. So, but yeah, I'm just curious. So let's talk about Redfall. Lethal Migraine says Redfall didn't look good at any point. Not surprised it's bad. Starfield has the same feel to me. At no point has it looked good. Redfall, you're right. It never, I don't want to say it never looked good, but it never pulled me in. Which made me a little hesitant about it, because I'm thinking, it's from Arcane Studios. These guys, and just to give you the pedigree of these folks, I mean, Dishonored?
See, Arx Fatalis,
Yeah.
Dark Messiah of Might and Magic, Dishonored, Prey, Deathloop, and the last one was Redfall.
Yeah, and they did Dishonored 2 as well, I think, right? That was the same studio, or was that a different studio?
Let's see.
That was Arcane.
Because it wasn't on the list.
Did they not? Okay, I was about to say.
That's still Dishonored. Dishonored standalone. Arcane Studios, yeah.
Yeah, Dishonored 2. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, I know them. The other games you had mentioned I heard of, but Dishonored, Dishonored 2, and Prey, 3 really great games.
Yeah.
Just really, really good. And
yeah, the studio's most known for creating the Dishonored series.
Yeah. Okay. So when I saw Redfall originally, as a teaser or whatever, I don't remember what it was, but I knew it was from Arcane, and I thought, well, maybe there's something here. And it had the typical Arcane look of what some Arcane games look like, but the gameplay was not pulling me in. It was a first-person shooter, vampire hunter thing, whatever the case may be, and it just wasn't grabbing me. I also couldn't tell if it was a co-op game, or if it was a multiplayer type thing, or if it's just you're one of a bunch of, you're the human player, a bunch of bots that are controlling the rest of your team, or if it's just you. I didn't know. But the problem with that is that I didn't care, because just looking at it, I was like, it's not grabbing my attention. I'm okay when games do that, because there's a chance, especially early on, there's a chance that something else will be released or talked about or revealed that might have that hook that pulls me in, or something like that might show a little bit more. I was wondering, Final Fantasy is one of those things. To tell me that a Final Fantasy game is coming out, I would tell you that, well, okay, that's going to be great for fans of Final Fantasy games.
Yeah.
I'm not one of them. But then, I see gameplay of that, and I'm like, hey, that interests me. Let's learn some more. And then I learn more, and it's like, oh, that's even better. That it's not got that turnstile-based whatever, which is one of the things that it kind of turned me off on games.
That's one of the genres. I gave it a shot, but I couldn't do it.
Well, I was given the benefit of the doubt for Redfall, thinking, these guys have done 3 great games so far. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's a hook in Redfall somewhere. But it's just not there. And the more I saw of it, the more I was still like, nothing's there for me. This might turn out to be really, really great, and I might end up playing it if the zeitgeist of the internet or whatever starts to talk this up. Well, they started talking it up, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Just out of the gate, bad. We've got a review roundup here for it, and this is not going to do its justice. I wish I could play some of the video reviews of this, but the language, I'd have to go through and edit all the language.
So you can't even,
it has the ability to be. I know from the outset, one of the reviews I was watching was that there's no cutscenes in the game. Anything that advances the story that you would think would be a cutscene is that still pictures animation type thing where, you know, it
like a visual novel type stuff,
kind of, and everything fades.
Animated comic of some sort.
But the characters don't move. You know, it's just a picture here, and then maybe the characters are positioned in one place while a narrative, you know, a voiceover narrative runs through, and then they position into a different place, or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. The whole thing there, it is all just stills. There is no cutscene at all. Mm-hmm. And sometimes there's not even enemies. I've heard of countless people moving from one end of the map to almost the entire other end of the map, and they don't see but maybe one or two enemies in the entire trek, if that. And then there's control issues. There is no way to, you can carry 3 weapons, right? There's no way to swap between weapons without cycling through them. In other words, if I've got a pistol, a shotgun, and a sniper rifle, and they're in that order, if I have my pistol, I've got to go to my shotgun and then my sniper rifle to get, if I want to get to the sniper. I can't go the other way around. There's no weapon wheel. There's nothing. You have to cycle through your weapons to get to what you need.
I've played games like that has systems exactly like that. I mean, it's not really that.
But they're on like a rotator. So, in other words, Destiny, for instance, I have 3 weapons, right?
Yeah.
My mouse wheel moves between the weapons that I want. Mm-hmm. So, if I'm on my main weapon and I want to get to my third, I don't scroll through from 1 to 2 to 3. I go from 1 to 3, right?
Right.
If I'm on my second weapon and I want to go to my first weapon or my third weapon, I just scroll up or I scroll down. I don't have to cycle through. In Redfall, if you're in your middle weapon and you want to get to your first weapon, you've got to pull out your third weapon and then your first weapon or something like that. I don't remember how it actually works, but it's not...
Okay, well,
it's not intuitive, I can tell you that.
I put it this way. Elden Ring, if I have 3 weapons on my character, I have to cycle through everything until I get to the one I want. But I could carry like 3 weapons, but I just tap up on the D-pad and it cycles through. But it's instantaneous. It's not I don't have to go through any elongated animation thing. It's instantly right there at my hip.
Right, there was a...
So in Redfall, was it they have to go through the animations of pulling the weapon out or something?
Well, see, I don't know as far as the PC aspect of that. Maybe there's a difference. But on Xbox, where this was played and reviewed, I remember Destiny, if I wanted to... I think the Y button or whatever on your controller, one of the buttons on your controller would switch your weapon, and if you did a long press,
long press goes to the heavy,
would go to your heavy, right?
Right.
It's not the case here. You press your button to cycle through your weapons. Mm-hmm. There's no wheel for you to pick from. There's nothing else. Now on a PC, can I just press 1, 2, or 3 like I do? Like you used to do for almost any game? Yeah. I don't know. I didn't look at a PC review for this. Mm-hmm. Lethal Migraine says apparently it's only 7 or 8 weapons anyway.
What, total?
Possibly. I don't put anything past that being... You asking that question makes me think, yeah, sure. Because it sounds ridiculous, and more than likely probably is for this game, considering how bad it's been reviewed.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, a lot of it sounds and looks like they had a little too less time to make a proper game.
Yeah. GameSpot gave it a 4 out of 10, with the reviewer saying, I can't pretend to know whether Arcane chose to make a loot shooter or if they were assigned to make a loot shooter. But I can tell you what it feels like. One of the best game studios in the world suddenly made toothless. I don't know why he used that phrase for it, but yeah. Redfall is Arcane making compromises to its own design philosophies to serve a genre it may have been better off avoiding. Let's see. Some site called We Got This Covered gave it a 4.5 out of 5, which is pretty high. Let's see. IGN has a review in progress. Windows Central gave it a 3 out of 5. Xbox Air gave it an 8.5 out of 10. Those are actually pretty good numbers, but if I were to take you over to Metacritic, which I'm going to go there now.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. I see.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And I only say that I'm going to Metacritic so that I can give you
The current updated score.
The score right now is 59. That's bad. The user score is 2.9. I'm looking at some of the reviews on some of these things.
I mean, I see one here that says, let's see, PC Games in. Disliked the story writing and the game failed in making me care about its characters. It's all just a bit basic.
Mm-hmm.
Which kind of fits with that Rush thing. They didn't have time to develop anything.
Yeah, see,
dooming their guests to play through the same missions again should they want to play in solo.
This one says Redfall will be a good game by the time all the technical problems it has at launch are fixed. That in a situation like this, I don't know how well that's going to be. That's going to work for them. But again, we look back to No Man's Sky. Just trying to remember. Now, No Man's Sky was a game that was promised a lot and underdelivered.
Yeah.
Redfall really never had any promises to give you. I mean, it was showing off, trailers and things, but there weren't devs out there giving you all these promises that they didn't live up to. Mm-hmm. It was just a game that was built, that was released. It's got a studio with a pretty good pedigree of releases, so you should expect the same here, and it just fails on every level. Mm-hmm. And fails in such a way that it's not necessarily going to ruin the reputation of Arcane. People will look at their next game with a little bit of a,
they're skeptical.
eyebrow,
They're skeptical. Yeah.
Turned up a little bit to say, let's see how this turns out.
Yeah.
But it's also something that probably can be redeemed, maybe. It can be redeemed in the review department, but can it be redeemed in the review of public opinion, I suppose? Maybe that's a way to put it. Or in the sense that this is just a game or a mechanic or a gameplay or something like that just, it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. You were better off developing games previously like you were doing and not a loot shooter, which is what this is apparently. Yeah. They don't make loot shooters, I guess. Deathloop, I'm not sure. That wasn't a loot shooter. That was... I don't know what you would call that.
Deathloop?
Yeah.
Something
almost
like
a roguelike?
Maybe, you're right. Maybe a roguelike. Because you would die and start over, and you have to memorize the map and that sort of thing. Mm. Or memorize the locations of enemies and that sort of thing.
Mm. Let's see. You said it was different genres. I was pulling up a list about the studio itself. Like, co-creative director Ricardo Bear. The game will continue Arcane's tradition of making each game different from the last. So that was what they mean? They like different genres?
Yeah.
With each iteration of game?
Maybe. I don't know. Dishonored, I don't know what genre. I don't know. Dishonored and Prey are very similar in the genre that they're in. Perhaps not the story setting genre, but the game mechanic genre, they're kind of similar.
I see a little more from the IGN description. They said IGN called the game an undercooked looter shooter by every metric.
Yeah.
Also criticized the game's bland missions, weak combat, and repeated technical problems. Users on Steam, upon its launch, with the users criticizing its enemy AI, gunplay, and performance issues. So yeah, I'm looking down the list of scores.
I'm looking at IGN. Redfall is a bafflingly bad game, or bad time across the board. So yeah, digital trends. Redfall makes concessions to work as a middling multiplayer game at the expense of a promising single player experience.
Now who's that one that gave it like 4.5 out of 5?
I don't know. One of those.
So I was looking at one called someone called Video Game Chronicles. They got a 4 out of 5 on theirs. Let's see. Yeah, his headline is Redfall is a refreshing loot shooter even if it doesn't play to Arcane's strengths.
This review says the crime of mediocrity is often more disappointing than the crime of simply being terrible, and that feels especially true here. Poor AI, texture pop-ins, and bland missions. Somebody showed, there was a dead body on the floor. And probably in the same room, there was another dead body on the floor, but it was the same exact model. You know what I'm saying? It was the same
Copy pasta.
Yeah, it was the same thing, just cut and pasted over to the other side.
Wow, I'm looking into this review, the 4 out of 5 star. I mean, it's completely opposite of what everyone else was saying.
Well, that's the thing. So, yeah, I know. That's why I don't really like Metacritic so much. That and Rotten Tomatoes and things like that, where they aggregate these things.
Yeah.
Because if whatever it be, a video game or a movie is getting nothing but a certain type of review across the board. If it's all negative, then you putting out a positive is going to get more clicks.
Yeah.
If it's all positive, you putting out a negative is going to get you more clicks. It's also going to be highlighted because you'll look at it and be like, one reviewer gave it this. Oh, well, let me see what that person says. You'll click the one review that kind of stands out among all the others, whether it be the one that praises it or it be the one that trashes it.
So how you tell if it's genuine?
You can't.
You can't.
But genuine. Yeah, go ahead.
Another weird thing about the Redfall game is that apparently when you're playing in co-op, only the host gets story progression and the other players don't.
Oh my God.
I thought those times are over.
That's horrible.
Yeah, I think I've been through that before, where it's like a story mission where it's a little difficult to play solo, so you do it together with a partner or a buddy or whatever. But like I said, only the one person gets the progress. The other one has to start over from scratch because you joined into his or her game. Yeah, you don't get the progress that one person did. Yeah. So whoever hit the button to start the mission, that's who gets the progress, apparently.
Yeah, oh man. Well, it's a game that's on Game Pass, which means if you've got Game Pass, then you can try this out for yourself. Feel free to do so, and then call us next week and tell us what you thought of it if you'd like to.
At least try before you buy.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're already paying for it with Game Pass, but that's
Game Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
You get what I'm saying, though.
Give it a shot if you'd like to. I mean, maybe there's something there for you. I don't put it past it, but every review that I've read on this thing has just been nothing but trashing it.
Yeah.
There's a few that kind of give it the hope of like, hey, if they had done it differently, this actually would have worked. And they give reasons for where it would have worked and what could have been done. What could have been done differently, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, wait, we got, I think it was Phil Spencer who made a comment about it. He said, "There's nothing that's more difficult for me than disappointing the Xbox community. To watch the community lose confidence and be disappointed, I'm disappointed, I'm upset with myself. We'll revisit our process." He went on to say that the team at Arcane Austin, which is the development team who did this, plans to continue working on the game, and that despite the less than stellar critical response, he will not stop developers from being willing to take risks in the future. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's... Sure, this is the head of Xbox saying these things, and I'm really curious to know if this was a risk that studio took, or if this was a demand the studio had to fulfill.
And Arcane Austin, because Arcane Studios. French developer based in Lyon, but Arcane Austin.
Well, they probably just have it. Yeah,
just
it's just a studio in Austin. Yeah, I think Bethesda has a studio in Austin, and I think they're under Bethesda, I believe. The critical
Smith.
Yeah, the critical response was not what we wanted, but one thing I'm not going to do is push against creative aspiration. We're going to continue to work on the game. We've shown a commitment to games like Sea of Thieves and Grounded, both of which did not have this bad of reviews, by the way, to continue to go and build games. But I also know these games are $70, and I take full responsibility for launching a game that needs to be great. He went on to say that one way to combat issues such as the team faces is that in the future, Microsoft should be more engaging in games midway through production when they become part of Xbox. He said, "I do think there's a different expectation for a game and even a team when you've been third party and all of a sudden you become part of first party. We didn't do a good job early on in engaging with Arcane Austin to help them understand what it meant to be part of Xbox and part of first party, and use some of our internal resources to help them move along that journey even faster. I'm curious as to how long this game was in development. I know I could look this up, but I'm curious as to how long this game was in development, because Phil seems to be taking responsibility, but he also seems to be putting that responsibility on the studio.
I think they were interviewed on some French website, and I think they mentioned that once they got bought by Xbox, they were told to cancel any further work on the PlayStation 5 version.
Ah.
Yeah, it was. PlayStation version was canceled after Microsoft acquired Bethesda. I said it was announced 2021.
Yeah, in the podcast, Spencer also mentions the punch in the chin he received over launching Redfall with only quality mode on Xbox consoles, which capped the game at 30 frames per second, instead of the promised 60 frames per second. Currently, the game on Xbox Series X is capped at 4K 30 FPS, while Xbox Series S users are capped at 1440p with 30 FPS. He said this, and I'm quoting him here, "The Redfall videos on IGN showing videos of the game running at 60 on PC, at the point knowing that the game was going to be around 30 on console, we have to be transparent about what we're showing, and that what we are showing is representative of what our console customer is going to see and what they're going to play, and our transparency just has to be better." To that end, Phil Spencer blamed himself, stating that it drives him crazy when we self-inflict wounds by putting things out there in communication that's confusing or misleading about what the actual end product is going to be. I'm glad that you understand that, but I'm surprised you didn't understand that prior to this, or at least didn't realize that that was happening.
He must have missed the release of Cyberpunk.
Which I doubt he did, given how, there's another, a cautionary tale maybe, but yeah. Bethesda previously promised 60 frames per second performance mode will be added via a future game update, so hopefully they will get that going rather soon. So that's exactly, that's what Phil said about that. Yeah, I'm reading some of the comments on this.
On Phil's comments?
Yeah. So, yeah. I get that he's the boss. He wants to take that responsibility. Mm-hmm. But a lot of what he said in there, I don't think they just let Arcane do what they wanted to do. Once they came over from Bethesda, or once Microsoft took them under their belt there, yeah. I'm sure they looked at it. And I'm sure whatever they were shown was something that they were okay with, I guess. I don't really know. But I can't imagine them spending money on a studio and then not getting involved somehow, or at least getting hands-on with them and saying, "Hey, what are you working on? Okay, let's see this. Here's some advice, or here's some things you should look into," or something like that. I don't know. Again, I don't know how long this game was in development. Yeah. I don't know the time frame. Lethal Migraine says he has been making excuses for his incompetence since 2009. It's just...
I was about to say, we've seen the examples of companies coming in and being too hands-on.
There's that too. I mean, it's a nice little line that you can walk, but generally, Xbox has been down the road, Microsoft has been down that road before with buying companies and having them release stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. I don't know how this got past testing. I don't know how it got past the preview builds that we got probably about a month prior to release or so. Mm-hmm. I didn't hear people coming out. Sure, there were some critiques, but not on the level that I'm seeing here.
Yeah.
So, what were they playing? What slice of the game were they given to do? And where is that in this game?
I mean, if this is how Microsoft handles their studios, they probably shouldn't buy anymore.
They're gonna, I'm sure. Well, they're still trying to get Activision. So, we'll see about that. We're going to hit a break here. You want to hang with us through the next segment here, Josh?
Oh, sure.
All right. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat here in just a moment. We've got some more stuff to talk about, which we'll get into. But this is music from a game called Mail Time. And it's some kind of one of those little cozy games where I guess you deliver the mail, but it's not Lethal Migraine. Mail Time, this is called First Day on the Job. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Strayed Lights. Track called Combat Turned Inward. I don't know what that game's about. But welcome back to the show. And welcome back, Josh.
Hello, hello.
Hey. So what are you going to do? Well, it's late there, so I'm guessing when you're done here talking to us, you're going to paint some more, go to sleep or something? I don't know.
I'll probably hit the bed, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be painting and streaming that tomorrow.
Wait, painting and what tomorrow? Streaming?
Streaming it.
Do you stream your painting?
Yeah,
Oh,
I tend
okay.
to paint and stream that on the weekends, one of the 2 days.
Well, throw us a link or something in our Discord, I guess, or just send one to me through Discord so that I can tune in whenever you do that.
I shall do that.
Yeah. I'd like that. Sit there and watch. Speaking of Discord, we're all going to have to pick new usernames.
Yep.
I don't know when this is taking effect.
It said it was going to be throughout the year, over a couple of months.
Right, you'll get a notification to pick your username, and hopefully you've got a unique enough username that somebody else doesn't grab it before you.
I'm sure mine is unique enough.
More than likely. I think that's the thing. They're getting rid of the number string at the end of it, but if somebody already has your name, what are you going to do? You're going to add a number to the end of it.
Or change it to something else, yeah.
Yeah, or pick something else, but most people won't at this point. Discord's been around long enough to where, no, I'm going to keep the name that I have, but I'll add a number to the end of it or something to keep that identity, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
I always hate when things like this happen. I don't mind so much if it's early enough into the life cycle that I can pick something and change it and not be a problem. But
Yep.
but then again, I've kept usernames for years.
Yeah.
Like if you see a username, chances are, regardless of where you're at, that's me. You know,
I'm in the same boat.
yeah.
I've got usernames that have multiple accounts and services, which has that username or some slight very slight variation of it.
Yeah.
So-
Early on, I was just changing the number at the end of it until I stuck with the 2, and it stayed that way. Now, my Discord name is one of the few variations that I've gone with, and I've actually used that name now for a lot of other things as well. But pretty much anywhere else, if you saw my username, you knew it was me. There's no question. And I want to say somebody, I don't know who or how long ago this was, but somebody hit me up, and I don't know what game it was. I don't know where it was. I don't know what it was, but it was my username, and they found it as we were doing a multiplayer game or something like that, and they hit me up and said, "Yep, it's me." So, but I can't remember what it was or who it was, but and it's only done that one time. It's only ever paid off one time of keeping that name across all these different platforms, all these different games and everything else. It's only worked that one time that somebody's been like, "Oh yeah, I remember that." Yeah. So I never like it when they do that. So let's see, what else do we have in our news? 2K are not going to do a Midnight Suns version on the Switch. That's a game I'm interested in, and I know it's kind of come down in price, but that's one that I'm kind of curious about. Marvel's Midnight Suns. I heard the gameplay in that was actually pretty good. There are some problems with the game as far as the story not being that great, but the gameplay is actually kind of good. It's card based.
I heard good stuff about it as well.
Yeah, it's card based. It's it's kind of 4X card based type thing. It's got some interesting hooks that I'm kind of curious about. Let's see what else. Yeah, we talked about the Bungie winning that lawsuit against the that cheat company or whatever. They're going to get 12 million. I don't think they're going to get 12 million out of that company. They'll get a lot of money from that company. Will they get 12 million? Probably not in the lifetime of the person who's got to pay that. But yeah.
It's probably a win for them if they get enough to cover the costs for the lawsuit.
Yeah, and I think they'll get that, but more importantly, I think it's more of just sending a message. Like, look, we got these guys for 12 million. So if you keep doing this, we'll come after you and we'll hit you up for the same price. It may not be something you can pay, but that's okay. We'll throw something absurd out there. So that for the rest of your time, you're going to be paying us, if that's the case. So I got a little beep on my Discord. I don't know what that was from. Checking Discord here. Oh, okay. It's Josh posting in there.
Silly old me.
Yeah, I was just looking to see what you had posted in the chat room. So
Nintendo did something like this a while back, didn't they?
With
the hitting someone for a big money lawsuit or whatever.
I can't remember who it was, but they probably have.
Wasn't that Nintendo?
Yeah.
Nintendo hit an individual person for doing something. I think it was something with modding. It was for a big money lawsuit. It was a while back.
Yeah, it was.
We got the internet right in front of us.
You do, I remember. And I do remember it was an individual who was paying millions of dollars to, or is going to have to continue paying Nintendo for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
Outside of hitting the lottery. And at that point, it better be a really big lottery for them to be able to pay that off. But yeah, and I can't remember what it was for. Nintendo goes after everybody, though.
Yeah, sentenced to 3 years in prison for his role in a Nintendo Switch hack selling scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was released early, but says he'll have to pay Nintendo a portion of whatever income he makes every month for a very long time as part of a $10 million settlement with the company.
And they're now trying to track down whoever leaked the Tears of the Kingdom. The new Zelda game got leaked.
Yeah.
And they're trying to find out who it was that did that. And, I mean, they're bloodhounds, man. They're coming after him.
Yeah.
But it's Nintendo. They go after YouTubers all the time posting any kind of content of theirs. They are strict about their copyrights. And I don't mind them being that way. I don't mind anybody being that way. If you own a product or a property or something like that, sure, protect it. I totally understand it. I would rather you have the ability to differentiate somebody who is trying to be, I don't want to say menacing with it. That seems overbearing, but someone who's trying to make profit off of you, a legit profit off of you, rather than somebody who's just using your music behind one of their videos.
Yeah.
They're not, it's not hurting you at all in that regard.
Yeah.
But they don't do that. They go after everybody equally. And by that, I mean full force, take it down or we will sue you, regardless of what it is.
Like, wasn't there this YouTube channel that had all the Nintendo game music on it?
Yeah, there was that. That was taken down.
They killed that, and you can't get the music anywhere else, so I guess nobody gets any more music.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, you don't cross Nintendo on the copyright claims at all. So, but they've always been that way. But like I said, for Bungie's case with this one, they've actually got a few lawsuits out there over some things, and they've won every single one of them. And they do go hard with their, what's the term I'm trying to think of? I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a caveman. But their demands or whatever it is they feel they're owed. They go very hard with that stuff. Mainly, I feel, to set an example of just saying, this is what you're going to get when you do that. We're going to, yeah. So it's probably best you don't do it.
Yeah, their approach is more Judge Dredd than Judge Judy.
I would say that, yeah. And then what else do we have? Phil Spencer again talking about Starfield.
Oh boy.
I know. Is this from the same podcast where he talked about Redfall? Yeah, no, it's the same one he was talking about Redfall in. He said, there is no world where Starfield is an 11 out of 10 and people start selling their PS5s. That's not going to happen. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. That's an interesting thought. This is the first time I'm reading this, by the way. The question was, why not? Why wouldn't great first-party games from Xbox move the needle? And according to Phil Spencer, Xbox's fate was sealed after it lost the last generation. We lost the worst generation to lose in the Xbox One generation, where everybody built their digital library of games. We want our Xbox community to feel awesome. But this idea that if we just focused more on great games on our console, that somehow we're going to win the console race, doesn't relate to the reality of most people. 90% or about 90% of the people every year who walk into a retailer to buy a console are already a member of one of three ecosystems, and their digital library is there. This is the first generation where the big games they're playing were games that were available last gen. When you think about Fortnite and Roblox and Minecraft, the continuity from generation to generation is so strong. I see a lot of pundits out there who want to go back to the time when we all had cartridges and discs, and every new generation was a clean slate, and you could switch the whole console share. That's just not the world we are in today. Makes sense. I kind of figured that was where we were going, and I guess I never really thought that it happened in the previous generation, mainly because I've been on a PC for a while, and that's just the way it's been. Mm-hmm. But he's absolutely right in the console terms of things, that our library is built. So if you are not a multi-console home, let's say you're just an Xbox or just a Nintendo or just a PlayStation, you know, you're Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo guy. If you're either one of those or just one of those, you have a library likely built near mid to near end of the last generation into this generation. Mm-hmm. Or maybe it started out of the gate at that generation. I don't think so, but over time, I think it did. I mean, how many games do you own digitally? You're more of a physical guy.
I'm more a physical person than anything else. But,
do you have outside of your PlayStation Plus games?
Outside of PlayStation Plus, that I've bought deliberately?
Yeah. Digitally.
I know. Deliberately bought something digital. Yeah. In my case, probably around anywhere between 10 to 20, maybe. Yeah. Intentionally, because one, it wasn't going to be available physically, which is the main reason I would purchase something digitally. Mm-hmm. So that would be the case there. Everything else came through PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, his comments there about that gives a little bit more insight as to why Game Pass is such a big deal for them. Mm-hmm. It's building that base. You know, he talks about we missed out on that digital thing last generation, but yet here they have Game Pass, which as long as you stick with our console, outside of them putting Game Pass on one of the others, which there wasn't really rumor, but there was speculation that maybe it could be something like EA Play or whatever Ubisoft has, Ubisoft Plus or whatever the thing's called, to where Game Pass could be something that is put on a Nintendo system or a Sony system. I don't think that's going to happen, but that does make me think that, that's what Game Pass is doing. It's building that digital library. It's getting you... It's like a cell phone. I've had an iPhone since iPhones were iPhones, ever how long ago that was. Mm-hmm. Anytime I've ever thought of ditching that and moving over to like an Android-based thing, I think about all the
hassle of switching.
Basically.
Yeah.
I don't want to say all the stuff I purchased because I don't actually buy a lot of apps on my phone. I download the free ones, but there's a bunch of stuff tied to that phone. Mm-hmm. As far as apps and things like that I would have to do all over again. All of it. I have to do all of it over again to switch.
And you've had that thing for how many years?
Right?
Yeah,
Exactly. It kind of locks you in. Now, I mean, you can do it. You can break away. Do you want to? Maybe. Some people would like to. I don't see myself doing it. What?
If there was a service for that.
Oh, yeah. Maybe. There probably is. I've really actually never looked into it because it's one of those things where it's like, I'm never doing this, so I've never bothered looking into it.
Maybe.
You know, I'm never going to change the architecture of my phone, I guess. Lethal Migraine says, if Xbox quit making the vastly superior console and Sony somehow made a console worth owning, I would be happy to switch. But as long as Xbox consoles are superior and Xbox controllers are the gaming standard, I will stay there, even though Xbox exclusives tend to be terrible. So, well, I mean, yeah, but I don't know. That's personal preference for you, Lethal. I know RJ is very much about if a system has the games I want to play on it, that's where I go. But it really has to have a good library of games that you want to play before you go there.
I want to see the library first. I mean, I'm gone are the days when one game, for me anyway, gone are the days when one game moves a system. Yeah, you got to have you can't have a game. You got to have a library to get me to go. What are you
currently on? What are you currently on?
PS4.
PlayStation 4. You don't
PS4.
Yeah. So you stick with your PlayStations, right?
Yeah.
Like the next console you're going to get is probably a PS5.
PS5. Unless I see other stuff that I want to play.
Yeah.
Coming around. So yeah, like I said, PC when I get it built up. I'll look at it that way.
I know.
But yeah, I'm going to go where the games are.
By the way, if you are building a PC right now, hard drives are unreasonably cheap. Unbelievably cheap. Both in these
the spindle or the
all
ones
of
that
them
just stick to the board.
All of them.
Okay.
Platters, SSDs, NVMe's. They are all really disgustingly low prices.
Well, I'd probably go the route of well, what did I have last time? Yeah, SSD for the operating system.
Yeah,
and just spindles for the storage.
Yeah, storage right now is real cheap. Storage is really, really cheap right now. I was looking that up and I was like, God, I can get an NVMe for like $60 for a 500 gig or more, you know, even just under 100 for a terabyte for an NVMe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you might consider getting one of those for games you're currently playing.
Yeah.
That's basically how I built my PC. I have a SSD for the system. I have a NVMe, I think, for the games I'm currently playing, and then one big spinner for everything else.
Yeah. Because solid states don't... What's the biggest solid state available right now? Now that I think about it.
I know you can get 4 terabytes.
4?
Maybe larger. But that's expensive.
Yeah.
That's really expensive for a 4 terabyte SSD. However, it's still cheaper than what a 4 terabyte SSD was 6 months ago.
Yeah.
It's come down in price.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting for my I got my Steam Deck over there. I'm still waiting for a Steam Deck memory Steam Deck storage to come down in price so that I can pop that 64 gig out of there and put in a nice 1 or 2 terabyte NVMe in that thing.
Well, with that information, time to update my PC part picker list. Start seeing what I can stick on there.
Yeah, prices, and I want to say RAM may be cheap right now too. I haven't looked at RAM numbers, but I heard it was RAM and hard drives. I think memory and storage are both real cheap right now.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Well, it's definitely something to look into. Yeah.
Yeah, Lethal Migrate mentions the Samsung, which is a really good brand of SSDs, especially the Pros.
That's what I had for my operating system.
They're real cheap, half of what they used to be. Yeah.
I think I saw a 4 terabyte for €200 right now.
I mean, it's better value than eggs over here. Josh, we got to run here. We're coming up to the end of the show, but I want to thank you for joining us on this episode and showing off your talent there with the paint.
Yeah.
Gladly. Anytime I can pop in, I will.
All right, man. I'll be looking for your stream tomorrow. You take care.
Hey.
All right, then I'll take care as well. Bye-bye.
Right.
See you, man. That is going to wrap it up for us. We are done. Don't forget to join our Discord if you'd like to and chat with us like Josh did, or you can join us in Twitch. Who's in there right now? Let me get a real quick look at everybody. Wow, AC Wraith is in there. 01 Ella AOK. Ah ha 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 ha. Big laugh. It's really, that's the name. Alice Sidra. Alien Gathering, another TV viewer, A10, Baba Brian, Commander Roop, Drapsnat, Drunk Degenerates, Evans, 041111, Lisa Bay, I think, Kata, Lethal Migraine, Paula Rigui, I think, and then Tinsu, all hanging out. Thank you guys for joining us on this episode. Want you to have a great week. RJ, thank you as well.
No problem.
And have a good week. We'll see you next week. Music here from a game called Dungeon Drafters. Enjoy, and we'll see you next Saturday.